12 baby steps to asking for a raise and getting it. So you think you deserve a raise and are going to ask for it. Great. You probably should. Now, it's easier said than done. And unless you do some prepping beforehand and have some luck, things may not turn out exactly the way you want or expect them. You need to do the asking and must be ready to back up your request. Here are some easy peasy ways to plan for and negotiate a pay increase. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you were to ask me, if you're doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka. Let's roll. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you 12 baby steps, easy peasy steps to asking for a raise and getting it. Number one, before we even get into the nitty gritty here, before anything else, you must increase your value as an employee. And you want to make it easy for your employer to say yes when you pop the question. This is very important. You can't ask for a raise if you haven't done the homework beforehand. So increase your value. And you can increase your value several ways. You can earn a professional certification. So let's say you are in an industry where, let's say you are an accountant, for instance, and you have a bachelor's degree at a moment, and basically you want to get a raise. Why don't you try to get a professional certification? For instance, the CMA or the CPA, the Certified Public Accountant License, right? By doing that, you are inherently increasing your value as an employee, right? So because if you're asking for a raise, indirectly what you're asking the employer to do is to increase the value of you as their employee. So it becomes easier if you've done the work yourself already, so they see you as a person who has a greater value. You can also do community service and hold an executive volunteering role. Now hear me out, this is very important. You know, if you are, say, the treasurer, the executive treasurer of a local chamber of commerce, or you are the president of a local, chamber of commerce, whatever it is, or a professional association, you are increasing your value as an employee, right? So you can volunteer, but also use that as a pathway towards greater professional recognition. Take a class. You can take a class. It's also, a class that goes towards improving your skill set, right? Getting more money is about proving you're worth more, as I said earlier. So if you grow your skill set by taking a course, you are improving your chances of getting the cash you want, right? And again, when it comes to skill set, I'm talking soft skills and hard skills, right? Soft skills meaning communication, emotional intelligence, anything that is transferable to any industry. That's a soft skill. And a hard skill, a technical skill, is something that's only treasured, if you will, only important and relevant in the industry you're in, right? You can also increase your value as an employee by participating in one or several seminars. Here, I'm not talking about just a class. No, take a module, take a real class, take several classes, seminars, workshops, right? So the knowledge that you've gotten, the knowledge that you have acquired will indirectly or directly, for that matter, increase your value to your employer. You can also mentor someone, guide someone, be a mentor to someone, provide, take somebody under your wings and help them move up the ladder by displaying the traits of a leader. By displaying the traits of an accountable professional, you are telling your employer directly or indirectly that you're ready to take on a larger role, that you are fit to be a leader. All right. Another way to increase your value as an employee is to exceed your goals. I'm not talking about just meeting the goals, no, because chances are your other colleagues are also meeting their goals. Otherwise, they'll be fired, right? The company is paying you to meet the goals. Now, if you're able to consistently outperform your peers, consistently exceed your goals, consistently meet deadlines, and deliver more, you're sending a message to the employer that, hey, listen, I'm so good. this job, I need more. Put more on my plate. Put more and more and more, which means they're going to have to promote you, right? Or at least give you more money for the job you're doing because you're adding value to the company. That's the key word here. For you to receive a raise, you need to add value to the company. Another way to increase your own value as an employee is to take something off your boss's plate. This is very important. If you're able to demonstrate to your boss that you can do his or her job at least partially, this is a great signal to your manager that you're ready to move up the ladder. And moving up the ladder comes with good perks, including a pay increase. All right. So before I talked about the 12 baby steps to asking for a raise and getting it, I wanted to tell you that you need to do this homework first. You need to, to have a foundation of growth in yourself. You need to have a foundation of growth in how you interact with people around you, whether they are your colleagues or subordinates. You need to do that work first. You need to increase your value as an employee before the company can increase your own value monetarily. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Key, where we're having a conversation today about how to ask for a raise and getting it. Now, number one, so 12 baby steps. Number one, do your homework. You want to go to the negotiation armed with facts, right? You want to have the info. You want to Google and ask around to have a sense of the typical salary for your job duties and years of experience compared to what you're making now. I'm talking go on glassdoor.com, salary.com, payscale.com. You can even go to the United States government. There is the Department of Labor has a website called the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they have pay ranges for jobs, and depending on the industry, depending on the geography. So if you live in New York versus LA, so you want to double check that. So you want to be armed with info, with facts. It's not about speculation. You can't ask your boss to increase your salary to, let's say you're making 50 grand now. You want him or her to move you to 70 grand, and when everybody else in the country is making 55. It's not reasonable, right? So this is important. Number two, be reasonable. Speaking about being reasonable, it's very important. This is a key point here. If you want to ask for a raise, try to stay within 5 to 10%. Unless you are a star performer, unless your industry is growing, unless you have a skill set that is so rare that only you can do this, don't ask for more than 10%. Now, you want to limit the increase to the industry average, like I said. There are two ways to do this. First, you can use the COLA approach. COLA stands for Cost of Living Adjustment, or the CPI information approach. Let's talk about COLA. Now, a cost of living adjustment, a COLA, is an increase in Social Security benefits to counteract inflation. Now, there is an automatic yearly COLA adjustment, and this began in 1975. So for 2020, for the year 2020, the COLA is 1.6%. All right. Now, this is measured. The COLA inflation index is measured using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. So that's the COLA approach, and then you have the CPI approach. Now, like as I said, as you can see on the screen right now, we've taken screenshots of the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is a government website, the CPI inflation calculator. What it does is it basically says how much a certain amount was worth several years ago and how much it's worth today. This is a powerful tool, folks, because you can actually take this. Let's say, for instance, if you look on the screen right now, I have an example. Say right now you were hired at the company. You were hired in 2015, in January 2015. And since then, you've been making $50,000. and today you believed and you haven't received a raise in the last 5 years, you can actually take this screenshot and go to your boss, of course, with other elements, with other things to back up to just kind of strengthen your argument. You can go to your boss and say, listen, I deserve, again, based on this example, as of January 2020, my salary should have been $55,191.12. In other words, an increase of more than 10%. So this is the kind of substantiation now I'm talking about. You have to prove what you're asking for, right? So, and the website is very simple. It's www.data.bls.gov. And this is accessible to anybody. So use it. Number 3, be clear with yourself how much extra pay you want and why. You got to have a clear number in mind, folks. You want to have a clear number or a clear range, right? And you got to be comfortable why you need it. You have to find the reasons, right? Again, if you do the research correctly, it could be the CPI, the COLA adjustment. It could be the industry is growing. It could be you took some classes. You've done a lot of work. You have exceeded expectations. You have contributed value to your company, and you believe in return that it is fair that they increase your compensation. But very clear, have a number in mind, because what's going to happen is that if your request is not accepted, your boss might come with a counter argument. So you want to be ready to be able to throw another number out there. Think of this as a salary negotiation process when you were hired, right? The only difference here is that now you are already employed at the company and you're trying to move up the ladder, monetarily speaking. All right. Number 4, consider alternative perks. Now, you might not get the money, right? Or you might be basically thinking that you're not well compensated right now. But have you thought about the perks? By perks, I'm talking about everything from vacation days, better benefits, more flexible hours if you have children, daycare center amenities. Those things are important. Those things contribute to making somebody's life better. It actually gives you a better quality of life, a better balance when it comes to work and life. So consider those things also as you start negotiating your pay. I'll be right back right after this. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are still continuing our conversation here and talking about the 12 baby steps to asking for a raise and getting it. Now, number 5, practice your negotiation, right? This is very important. You want to arrange a mock negotiation with a friend or family member. If you have a spouse, just have this and talk about it. It's very important because you want to practice saying the words that form what many employees consider to be uncomfortable, right? Nobody wants to talk about money, but it's important to talk about money. If you want money, you got to talk about it, right? So when you practice, when you rehearse with someone, the person can give you feedback on your pitch, can give you feedback on your tone, on your delivery, right? The person can tell you, for instance, if you sound too hesitant or too overconfident, too cocky, whatever it is, you want to practice. All right. And you can practice. You just write down what you need to say and rehearse it. Be an actor or actress. Number 6, find the right time for the negotiation meeting. It's very important. You got to think about timing. Timing is key, right? It's not about topics. This is just like regular life. If you have a spouse, there are certain issues that you don't want to talk about at a certain time, not because the issue itself is a bad one. It's just the timing. So for instance, if your company is going through some quote unquote restructuring, or that the company is having problems, financial problems, you don't want to start a conversation around a pay raise at that moment, right? Or if your boss is not in a good mood, or he or she just came back from a sick leave and is still frail. Again, I'm using very extreme hypothesis here, but the idea, you get it. You get me. The idea here is to find the right timing where your boss is in a good mood, or where there's the overall environment at the company. It's just great to have this kind of conversation. Number 7, you want to act as if you already have the raise you seek. Let me repeat that. You want to act as if you already have the raise you want, right? It's very important during the conversation. When you have the conversation with your manager, you want to look and act like someone who deserves a raise, someone who is comfortable in his or her own skin, someone who has done all the homework, who is comfortable that his or her value is worth as much as the amount he or she is asking for, right? You want to show respect. You want to show professionalism. You want to show maturity. You want to show leadership. You want to show humility. Very important. Those are elements that will tell your boss that you are ready to you deserve that money, right? And I'm talking about here nonverbal and verbal communication. I'm talking from everything from your tone to your pitch to your dress. You got to dress comfortably but professionally, right? No hat, no cap, no sports suit, no sneakers. No, you got to have the proper office dress code here. Number 8, be specific with your request, right? This is very important. If you're clear in your mind what you're looking for, this will make a lot easier. This will make this phase a lot easier. What I'm trying to say here is that if you want $75,000 and you're currently making 60, say it clearly. So it will be something like, hi boss, or hi whatever, hi Mark, or hi Maria. I based on this and 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 this, I believe I deserve an annual salary of $75,000. So you're able to give all the reasons why he or she should give you a raise, and then you say the amount but you have to be very specific, right? Like I said earlier, be specific at first, and then you can negotiate. If you give a range, you might be disappointed. Just give a number at first, and then if your boss wants you to come up with the range, then you go the range way. You use the range approach, but always start specific. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still here having a conversation around an interesting topic: how to get a raise and how to make more money. If you love the quality and the clarity of this content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell. Also, give us in your comments your experience when it came to getting a raise. Let us know also what you think about the topic. Comment below, share, and like. Number 9, you want to maintain a stable pitch and language during the negotiation, right? This is what I just talked about. If you practice this very well with a friend or relative, when it comes time to actually perform and saying things to your boss, it will be very easy. It will be like second nature to you, right? So you want to find balance in your tone and language. You want to be, again, don't be aggressive. There is a fine line between being assertive, in other words, standing your ground, and being aggressive, right? You don't want to be seen as arrogant, as somebody who's trying to force things through. No, always at all times maintain professionalism. This is very important, and the reason why, and this is number 10, you want to see your boss and your employer in general as your ally, right? Because your boss wants you, believe it or not, your boss wants you to be happy. Every boss does, right? So give the employer a positive role, a positive image. He or she is not a problem. Your boss is not the problem here, right? If you're able to view your boss in a positive light, chances are you will have a productive and positive meeting. You will see him or her as someone on your side. Even if you might not agree with them, they still will support you. So try to have this in mind as you start a conversation around the salary boost. This is very important because that will actually frame your approach And this will allow you not to come as aggressive, but come as polite and assertive. Number 11, we're still going through the baby steps to asking for a raise and getting it. Be a good listener. Listening is a great skill, not just when negotiating your pay raise. It's just a great skill in general here. So, whatever your manager has to say in response to your request, just listen. Listen. You want to paraphrase. You want to make sure that he or she understands that you're really paying attention, right? And again, if you're engaged in a conversation, if you're engaged in a dialogue, not a monologue, you'll be able to rebut. You'll be able to come back to your boss after listening. Number 12, this is the last reason here. Try to understand the reasons behind the denial if it happens. So let's say you have, you don't get the raise. Your manager turns you down. You want to be respectful of his or her decision. It's very important. All right. Now, what you want to do is you want to ask why. You want to ask your boss what you need to do to get the raise you want. Is it performance? Is it an improvement of interpersonal skills, hard skills, whatever it is? You want to be able to get the reasons why you were denied. Now, the reason is very important because if you believe that those reasons are fair and are fixable, then you can start working on them, right? And in some cases, your boss might even give you a deadline or a timeline to say, okay, you know what? We're not bumping your salary now by 10 grand or 15 grand. But if you do this, and this, and this, and this by, I don't know, within the next 6 months or the next 12 months, we'll probably give you the raise you want and even more. So you kind of have a deal. You sign a deal with your boss, and that is very motivating. It's very thrilling. And this is something that can allow you to get the raise you want, even if you don't get it right away, right? So this is really it, folks. I just want to wrap up today's conversation here. So I spoke about, before anything else, the fact that you must increase your value as an employee and make it easy for your employer to say yes. And here is a recap of the 12 baby steps to asking for a raise and getting it. Do your homework. Be reasonable. Be clear with yourself how much extra pay you want and why. Consider alternative perks. Practice your negotiation. Find the right time for the negotiation meeting. Act as if you already have the raise you seek. Be specific with your request. Maintain a stable pitch and language during the negotiation. See your employer as your ally. Be a good listener. Try to understand the reasons behind the denial if it happens. So this is it, folks. I really appreciate having you with me today. I hope you are doing fantastic and you enjoyed the show as I did. And until next time, stay marvelous.